Hello and welcome to another video. In this video you will see Naveena Kapur, who is part of the research team at Parkinsons UK. They will describe their role, how they conduct research as part of the organisation. Parkinson's disease symptoms are described, procedure of how to retrieve a diagnosis of Parkinson's, the helpline number, and the website is also available for people who are experiencing symptoms of Parkinson's. If they want to talk to someone about their symptoms or whether they have been through a diagnosis. Our guest Naveena Kapur from Parkinsons UK also mentions that Parkinson's can affect anyone at any age, from being in teenagers to old age. The process includes going to your GP and getting a referral to a neurologist. The projects that are being funded by Parkinsons UK are also discussed in this interview. Some devices including Q-band, which is a type of wristwatch that helps you prevent drooling. Naveena describes the process of the research projects, how the research is funded by Parkinsons UK. They look into different factors that can cause Parkinson's disease, and the drugs are mentioned which stabilize the condition. Naveena also mentions two of the genes that have been connected with the increasing risk of development of Parkinson's disease. There is a research study that mentions a prevalent gene in African people. You are encouraged to fill a survey online and increase the comprehension of Parkinson's. Visit the website for further information about all the groups you can join and make new friends and benefit from learning about other people's experience of Parkinson's.
So my name's Naveena Kapur and I work at Parkinsons UK as the Research Communications Lead. And Parkinsons UK is a charity that supports in a number of different ways. One of the things that we do is we fund research into Parkinson's, looking at finding kind of the background into Parkinson's and what causes it, but also looking at ways to find different treatments. And these can be drug treatments, or they can be other things such as exercise and devices that can help improve symptoms for Parkinson's. Parkinsons UK supports people by fundraising to provide our helpline. Parkinsons UK is here to support everyone affected by the condition, and we also fight for fair treatment and better services. We fund services for everyone affected by Parkinson's, and also put on local group meetings for people so that they're able to meet people in their local area to talk about their condition and also meet other people too. Parkinson's is the fastest growing neurological condition in the world. It affects around 153,000 people in the UK and 9,000 people in Greater Manchester alone. And it's caused when the dopamine producing nerve cells in the brain start to die. And we don't know what causes these to die. There's lots of research ongoing into this, but because we don't know the cause, it's what we call idiopathic. There's certain things that we do know about Parkinson's, and is that researchers think that it's caused by a combination of genetics age, and also environmental factors. So although there may not be a cause for a lot of people in Parkinson's that is caused by genetics, there are certain genes that can cause an increased risk of developing Parkinson's, but it's not necessarily the only thing that will cause the Parkinson's.
Can you tell us some signs and symptoms as well, the Parkinson? I know you mentioned some before, but is there any other that we've not covered that you would like to let us, listeners and viewers, know what other signs and symptoms are for Parkinson?
Yes, of course. So Parkinson's has over 40 symptoms, but most people associate it with its three most well known symptoms, which are stiffness, slowness of movement, and a tremor. And these are the motor symptoms that are associated with Parkinson's. But like I said, there's a lot of other symptoms such as fatigue, um, sleep problems, dementia and memory problems, pain, depression, anxiety. The early symptoms of Parkinson's can be some of these as well. So there can be problems with the gut, such as constipation. Some people notice that their handwriting gets smaller. And yes, other things like sleep problems as well as some of the early signs, or even losing your sense of smell. Okay, so if people, want to find out about whether they have Parkinson's, they can go to their GP, and their GP can refer them to a neurologist who will run some tests on them, looking at their symptoms, and also ask them a bit more details about what they've been experiencing. If people have any questions as well, they can call the Parkinson's UK helpline, and our local advisors are here to answer any questions you have or provide any support or any additional information. People want to get involved with a local group, they can contact our helpline to find out if they've got any local groups in their area, or go to the Parkinson's UK website as well for more information. People have been diagnosed recently, and they do want someone to talk to, the Parkinson's UK helpline is there. We've got lots of information on our website about the diagnosis process, and also if you're newly diagnosed. But also, everyone's diagnosis is different, and everyone's feelings after diagnosis is different. So whatever you're feeling, it's valid. And if you do need to talk to someone, Parkinson's UK is there. Parkinson's can affect anybody. It's often associated with people who are older, but it can affect anyone of any age, race, or ethnicity. And a lot of people normally associate it with older white people, which isn't the case. There is increased risk if you're in that category, but people can develop it when they're a teenager, and people can develop it when they're in their 80s. So it does vary. Young onset Parkinson's is classified as people under the age of 50. The research suggests that they're more likely to have a risk to a genetic link to Parkinson's.
Have you got any questions?
Um, like with Parkinson, could you tell us what's the actual process when a new client or someone comes to say that they've got the Parkinson just starting? What's the actual full process?
Just to clarify, do you mean the full process from when they go to see their doctor?
Yes, from the doctor, and then they come to you saying that they've just started having Parkinson.
So Parkinson's UK, we're not involved in the direct process of being diagnosed, but anybody can contact us. If they do have any questions, if they think they have Parkinson's, if they're newly diagnosed with Parkinson's, or even if they've had the condition for years and they'd like to talk to us. But we're not involved in the direct, diagnosis process. But what normally happens, obviously, is if someone's experiencing symptoms and they go to their GP, they can be referred to a neurologist, and the neurologist will run some tests, whether that be asking more questions or doing some tests to measure certain symptoms. And that's where the process goes on from there.
And going forward with the organization yourself, what's the plans in the future with the organization and with the
So there's
research?
lots of research going on into Parkinson's, whether that's looking at the causes of Parkinson's, whether that's looking at different treatments such as drugs or devices that people can trial. Um, so there's lots of research ongoing. Currently, we're funding nearly 50 research projects, and we're going to keep doing that in lots of different areas, also looking at physiotherapy and exercise, speech and language therapy as well. So research is always ongoing into finding not only ways to improve certain symptoms, but also to find a cure for Parkinson's.
In your research, what devices have you used and what's been successful as well for the organization?
So there's lots of different devices that are currently being trialed. One is called Q-Band. This device is used to help people with their drooling. And what it is, it's a wearable wristwatch that people that will send like a cue or like a slight vibration to people to remind them to swallow, which will help them with their drooling that they experience.
And going forward, what's your plans in the future? I know looking 3 or 5 years down the line, have you got anything planned as well? Going with the organization or any other
What
research?
happens with the research that we fund is people apply with their research studies. So they send us a proposal of the research that they want to undertake. And then we assess that research to see whether it will be of benefit of people to Parkinson's and if it's a priority for people with Parkinson's. And with a number of, reviewing factors, we will then fund lots of different research projects. But like I said, we've got lots of research that we're funding. um, the genetics that we mentioned, one of the research projects we're funding is something called Predict PD. Predict PD has been in touch with over 10,000 people who don't have Parkinson's, and they speak with them regularly and they keep track of their medical history. And then, if someone does go on to develop Parkinson's, what they can do is take a look at that medical history that they have from that person and try look at the different factors that they've experienced, whether that's genetics, whether that's environmental factors, and try to look at whether any of those may have been the cause or have combined to cause their Parkinson's. So that's one of the research projects that's ongoing. But we're going to keep funding things like this, looking into genetics, looking into the environment, looking into different exercises, looking into different drugs that can look at different symptoms such as hallucinations, which is a huge unmet need, we've been told, by people with Parkinson's. Looking at dyskinesia, which is also an unmet need. One of the projects that we've been funding is called one of the drugs is called NLX 112, and we've recently it's had positive results, and it's been shown that it's got an anti-dyskinetic effect and also anti-Parkinsonian effect, which means that it's helped with the movement problems in Parkinson's as well. And that's been in an early phase clinical trial. Um, and this, obviously, it still needs more research. The next steps are to look at it in a larger and longer clinical trial. But hopefully, with that, the research can go on and it may lead to a treatment to treat dyskinesia in Parkinson's.
So, would you be looking into different genes as well that come with Parkinson's as well, or have you not covered that area at the minute with the Parkinson's condition of
There
organization?
has been a lot of research done into the genetics involved in Parkinson's and different genes that might increase the risk of developing Parkinson's. And that two of these I can mention. One is the LRRK2 gene, and one is the GBA gene. And these two genes have been linked to possibly having an increased risk of developing Parkinson's, not necessarily causing the Parkinson's, but the people who've had genetic testing and have been shown to have these genes or certain mutation in these genes have had an increased risk of developing Parkinson's. Um, what's really important in research is that it is representative of the entire population, and that means it's including people of all ages, including people of all ethnicities and races as well. And we need people, all types of people, to take part in research so we can fully understand Parkinson's. Um, one of the recent studies has shown that there's a certain mutation in a gene that wasn't previously known about that's more prevalent in a African community. So what's really important is that we've got as many people as possible taking part in research so that we can have a full idea of what's going on in
Have you
Parkinson's.
taken this research to schools, colleges, and university, like in the education sector as well and the public sector as well, or are you looking into that at the minute?
So the research is undertaken by researchers that work at universities. So they are the ones that organise and plan and undertake the research. And Parkinson's UK funds this research. But what we do is we meet with local groups around the UK, local Parkinson's groups, and we you know, explain, the research behind Parkinson's and the research that is ongoing. And we encourage people to take part in research by going to our website, going to the Take Part Hub on our website, inputting their postcode. And by doing that, they can find different research studies that are ongoing in their area or things that they can take part in online. For example, filling in a survey to share their experiences of Parkinson's. Um, and that means they can help contribute to furthering our knowledge of Parkinson's. We have obviously our website, parkinsons.org.uk. We've got lots of information on there about whether you've been newly diagnosed, whether you want to know about the symptoms, whether you want to take part in research. We also have our free and confidential helpline, which is 0808 800 0303 if you want to talk to someone. And through that helpline, you can also access our Parkinson's local advisors who can provide you with tailored support by phone, whether you have the condition or whether you're a carer, friend, or family member of someone with Parkinson's. Um, if you want to find out more about taking part in research, you can visit our Take Part Hub, and you can also sign up to our emails in the Research Support Network. And this way you can find out about opportunities to take part in research, general research updates, such as um, research trials that publish their results, and also events ongoing in your area. You can also find local groups which you can attend. They hold meetings in your area, and you can go and meet people with Parkinson's or carers of people with Parkinson's or those loved ones of people with Parkinson's.